أهلا وسهلا بكم بجامعة بيت لحم. Welcome to Bethlehem University, where teaching, research and service to the Palestinian people help us sustain hope and fulfill dreams. In the next few minutes, you will meet 3 generations of scientific researchers and learn about the Hereditary Research Laboratory at Bethlehem University, one of our centers of excellence, which is in the forefront of inspiring innovation and creating a future of hope for the people of Palestine.
My name is Mary Claire King. I'm American Cancer Society professor at the University of Washington in Seattle. I'm here visiting the lab of Moeen Kanan, as I've done every year or so for the last 15 years, to follow up on our collaborations on the genetics of inherited hearing loss and the genetics of inherited predisposition to breast and ovarian cancer.
As you know, most probably that we have been doing this research. By the way, it's a research that is relevant to the Palestinian need over the last 15 years. And over this long period, we have successfully built up very good regional and international links. An example of this with the University of Seattle, Washington, Professor Mary Claire King, who has been helping us over the last 10 years or so. Also regionally, we have link in the region and also in the Arab region as well.
I met Moeen through mutual friends who were interested in hearing loss in the Middle East. He came to my lab in 1999 as a Fulbright Fellow. It was a fabulously successful visit. He had a very good background in biochemistry from Ohio State, where he did his PhD, and in that year became fully versed in modern genomics. He's kept up with that very rapid accumulation of new technologies as he's built the lab here at Bethlehem.
We have enucleated a very updated genetic lab, and we have currently 2 major platforms that we're interested in, and of course we are exploring new platforms in the future. One of the main success in the lab was the investigation of the genetic basis of hearing loss in Palestinian families. We are actually, with our work, trying to put the basis for 2 things: model for genetic investigation of abnormalities in the Palestinians, as well as use the model to provide genetic services. And we're sure that we're going to impact this, impact the public health sector in this domain very soon.
Over the years, we have been emphasizing the need for human resources. And here an introduction of a first-generation scientist and also a second-generation scientist.
His student, whom you know, one of your own, Hashim Shehin, did his PhD jointly at Bethlehem University, at Tel Aviv University, and at the University of Washington in Seattle. It was a tour de force, both scientifically and logistically. He worked around all of the problems during the Second Intifada. It was a challenge. It was a beautiful piece of work. Very prominently published, a very nice result. And now you have hired him as one of your young faculty.
Exactly.
So you already have 2 generations of academic success with this.
Starting a third.
Indeed, and beginning a third already. You also have senior technical staff here. Amal Abu Rayyan has been with this lab for 12 years. She won the prize at the Mediterranean Medical Genetics meeting for best presentation. She's an outstanding young woman who works here in Bethlehem.
My name is Amal Abu Rayyan. I'm working here through the past 10 years as a research assistant in this lab. Through these 10 years, we helped many Palestinian families in their deafness cases through identifying their gene that's responsible for hearing loss, and we hope to help other Palestinian families through other research like the breast cancer, the autism, and other researches.
So I'm proud as I can be to be part of this effort. The science of the Hearing Loss Project is funded by the American National Institutes of Health. It's funded purely on the science. It competes with all science across the world. This is not a handout. This is hardcore, rigorous NIH R01 funding, and we are now in the 11th year of that funding. And there is every expectation of future success. We're publishing multiple papers every year from this laboratory with gene discovery for new genes for hearing loss in Palestinian families. and that work is translated into direct service to those families by Moeen and his clinical colleagues.
With my village, Halhul, then I asked about family that have deafness broadband, more than one broadband. I went there and talked to them. I talked to them about the genetic testing that we are doing. Then one family told me about the other family, and from that we start extending.
In the breast cancer domain, we just initiated that through funds from BCRF, Breast Cancer Research Foundation, and we have been investigating that over the last 3 years. We are learning very much from the experience that we're gaining working with such a very delicate subject. And sure enough, comes with the breast cancer genetics the issue of sensibility, norms, values, and an approach towards genetic counseling, which we'll be entertaining hopefully in the near future if we wind up addressing training in this domain.
There was a lot of work done with predisposition to breast cancer in Jewish women, but none in Arab women. That has now changed.
Yeah.
Moeen and his staff have identified mutations in the critical breast cancer genes, BRCA1 and BRCA2, that are specific to Palestinian families. They are characterizing those mutations, and they are using state-of-the-art technologies to do it. And perhaps even more remarkable, at least to me as an American, a training program was put in place by Moeen and his collaborators at Augusta Victoria Hospital that trains young Palestinian women to provide cancer counseling to women who learn that they are at high inherited risk of breast and ovarian cancer. That training has been extremely successful. It has involved geneticists, young geneticists from Moeen's lab, and oncology nurses from the West Bank. The hope now is to extend this training to include young students in your social work program, and thereby integrate the work that is being done in your Masters of Social Work, which I understand you've gotten off the ground, and the flourishing Masters of Science program that Moeen has engaged in. So by integrating the students with a background in nursing, the students with a background in social work, and these students with a background in hard sciences, I think it's going to be certainly a unique program for the region, in many ways a unique program for the world.
Well, I think one of the things we're most proud of with our science faculty is that they are able to integrate the three missions of the university: teaching, research, and service to the Palestinian people. We hosted a regional 3-day conference and workshop for oncology nurses, which are quite rare in terms of a specialization. Much of this was funded and assisted through organizations in the U.S.
Oh, like the Komen Foundation.
Exactly.
Komen brought their leadership here.
Exactly. Right. Maybe 6 people came, and one of the main speakers was Professor Kanan.
Right.
Now, again, it was more intended, of course, for nurses, but the scientific aspect, the medical aspect, he was key to helping them unlock some questions and challenges. So I think what we do, what Moeen does, what his colleagues do is fantastic. And as I alluded to, we're now really in the 3rd generation.
So we also got involved in the human resources. We have trained people, first academic training and manifesting with a new recruitment of Dr. Hashim Shaheen, who's got his PhD through the work with the lab.
We work on different topics in the lab, but now I'm trying to introduce new trends of research in the lab. For example, I did my master's and PhD on hearing loss, but now I'm moving, besides working on hearing loss, I'm moving towards mental illnesses. So now we're trying to work on schizophrenia and autism, and also other phenotypes in the Palestinian population.
And also we have recruited our graduates from Bethlehem to work as a researcher in the lab. And not only that, but we felt with the success we have, we could also capitalize on the outcome by establishing some sort of a graduate program. We realized that we cannot do this by ourselves. That's why we have a regional agreement with other sister universities in running the master program.
My name is Muhammad Salahat. I am a master student in biotechnology program in Bethlehem University. I'm working here on sequencing or full sequence of BRCA1 and BRCA2 in hereditary lab. And I believe this is very important work for the Palestinian society.
But we also face, as we learn from the master program, the need to sustain the master program, both physically and resources as well. I mean, space-wise and resources as well, especially when it comes to equipment and consumable. In fact, this is one of the major needs that we think we need to address currently. And
the impressive thing to me is that you have an ideal and you've made it work.
We've had many challenges, and anyone who knows the situation of Palestine and of Bethlehem University, we work under tremendous constraints,
right.
But I think it's an amazing sign of God's grace that it all works, and it works well, and at a world-class level.
Well, you're very good at what you do.
Yeah, thank you. My pleasure.